Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docu-series.
Yes, but through our own lens, my loves, which is salty, which is acidic, which is very spicy, very very hot, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hi! All right, so today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 Days, Season 6, Episode 6, Dangerous Liaisons. I'm sure Chris knows how to say that in French. You know how to say that in French?
Uh, no, it's
Okay, like Liaison dangerous or something like
yeah. Les Miserables. No, I don't know. But I do love Danish Liaisons. It has a movie with John Malkovich and Glenn Close, and of course, Cruel Intentions was
that.
also made on that. So,
Hmm.
it's just
Sarah
always
Michelle Gellar and
yeah.
Freddie Prince Jr.?
That
No,
was Ryan Phillippe.
Ryan Phillippe. Forgot about him.
Yeah.
Mhm. She
Uh,
married Freddie Prince Jr. That's what happened.
and Reese Witherspoon married Ryan Phillippe.
Oh,
Yeah, her two kids are Ryan Phillippe kids.
I didn't know that at all.
It's
Hmm.
it's 90s pop culture lore. So yeah. Yeah, everyone be marrying, everyone having kids, but like they were really married for like it felt like only like 5 years, but like they were just so hot. But yeah, that was a great movie, and that also featured Selma Blair and a very hot kiss. And I really loved it. I love the song at the end. Like I love that kind of like bad girl vibe. It felt very cool. I remember thinking it was like a very cool movie.
I remember thinking that Sarah Michelle Gellar was such a mean girl for no reason, and it was just like a lot of rich kid shenanigans
Yeah,
that I didn't quite. Yeah, I didn't feel. I didn't understand. But Sarah Michelle Gellar is still with Freddie Prince Jr.
yeah,
That's like a Hollywood love story.
yeah,
She was Buffy, so I have a special place in my heart for Sarah Michelle Gellar.
yeah. She has
Uh,
a wide range. She can go from mean rich girl to just sort of like upper middle class, not mean girl.
yes, but she's on a new show called like Wolf or something. I tried to watch it, but it took too long to get to the point. Um, so yeah, so about this show we watched. Um, what did you think of the episode tonight?
You know what? I thought it was boring. I found myself getting distracted a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Hmm.
I do think that I do think some parts weren't boring. So we can talk about, we can talk about everything, and then I'll tell you which parts are boring and which parts weren't. So, um, who do you want to?
Yeah,
What did you think? What did you think about
let's
it?
just I it wasn't riveting. My sister called me, then the Guatemalan person called me. So I like got on the FaceTime a few times, and it wasn't like, "Oh my god, I got to watch this." Statler gave me a little anxiety. This feels like a person that's just like flying by the seat of her pants and making poor choices and just like doing whatever, but then having like massive insecurities that's just going to like get in the way. And then you've got Riley, where he's like making faces and basically doing the blackmail version of snapping his neck that I didn't fucking appreciate. He was like, in my mind, and
Oh,
then, yeah, he was like,
I'm just like,
just like, I was just like, if you don't leave this tiny woman alone. And then Gino and Jasmine is the same shenanigans. And David and Sheila, okay, okay.
okay. Yeah, I need no more David and Sheila. I want them to be happy, but I don't want to have to see it or smell it. Okay, or listen, I don't care. So who do you want to start with? Who do you want to start
Let's
with?
just start at the top. Gino and Jasmine.
Okay, Jasmine and Gino. So, she looks so different in the airing of the episode as opposed to the confessional look. In that the airing of the episode has her like sort of curly wig on and her blue contacts on and red cherry liquid lip and it feels like she just got the lip filler in, so they're just like her lips are huge. And then when she goes to confessional, she's wearing no contacts, her natural brown eyes, and the look is obviously a makeup artist, and they gave her no lip. It's very more natural, so it's like it's a jarring. You're like, who's that? Oh yeah, God, wow, she looks so much better. Okay, so she's like, oh, I'm gonna. She always, everything's always about like whether she had sex or not enough sex. It's always not enough sex. She's gonna go and like run errands. She says to Gino, and she leaves with her with Coco, but that's not what she's going to do.
Yeah.
It's the old switcheroo, honey.
Yeah.
This part's funny to me because so she FaceTimes again, Dane, who is this guy that she is her ex that she stalked because he said he lived in this apartment building, and she picked it, made sure of all apartment buildings in all of Panama that she got $3,000 for. She made sure that it was his apartment building, but conveniently the entire time they've been filming, he's on a family vacation, so she can't parade around Gino in front of him or him in front of Gino. So she's like, I'm so happy that he and Gino haven't met yet because I don't know how to like deal with it. And it's just like hitting at this. And by the way, Dane has no desire to be with her. She there's nothing that she can say, and she tries like, Dane, oh Gino, who I love so much, won't have sex with me. Can you believe in me or whatever? And Dane's like, well, I also feel like it doesn't look like I want to have sex with you either. So, right, Wa?
Yeah. I think that Dane had his fill of her and felt like I don't need the pressure of being with her. However, maybe if I wanted to go out on a hot date with somebody, I keep her around because she's a hot date, right? She knows how to dress herself, she knows how to present herself. And the fact that he has signed up, even when on a family vacation, to shoot a scene with her shows that there's something, either the cameras have an allure for him or he has an allure for her a little bit, where he doesn't want to let her go. That's what I think.
I mean, maybe. I maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
you know,
Um,
you
I
liked her boots.
I hated it. No, no. You were in Panama. Why do you have on fall boots?
Oh yeah.
Like it. I mean, what is the point of that? You should be in chancletas or sandals all the time, heeled sandals at every moment. There is no reason for you to wear a black fall boot to the park. And I love that she's like, she can't say Dane. She calls him Dan. Or it's like, Dan. Like she tries to say Dane, but she keeps on saying Dan.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then the next scene is with her and Gino going running. But first she has to put on some, what is that, suntan lotion? Yes, suntan lotion. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not, what is it called?
It's sunblock. Sunblock.
I don't know why it's hard for me. I just started wearing it like maybe the last 2 years, and so like to say it out loud is hard for me. So she puts it on him, and then she like tries to give him a sexy leg massage and talking about the tip of his penis showing. And I think at some point she has to just recognize that he doesn't want to talk about his penis ever.
Yeah, that man. She is not picking up on any sort of cues that he feels uncomfortable being publicly super sexual. Like she hasn't gotten that. Like she's the opposite. She's only too excited to like every conversation be about whether he's fucking her or not enough. Spoiler alert, it's never enough. And the way that she like massages his upper thighs with this sunblock as if the sun's gonna not nary ever see them. Like they're the palest of pale. Like they've never seen the sun. Like so.
I noticed because of that he had a tan, that she had a tan. Like I would have never noticed that she had a tan had it not been for that scene. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. And then like even everything is so sexual, while like even like there's stretches. Like she's like, okay, we're gonna stretch now. Yes, the stretch that we all know we do after running. This one, like no, why are you making him do it? Like I don't know. Maybe it's just like it just feels like okay. girls that are too sexual and everything goes sexual is like a certain energy that I think that in life I avoid because it seems a little manic, and it gives me anxiety. And so that's sort of like what's feeling like with this one where I'm like, I just don't know if I want to watch this. This makes me feel like I'm watching someone in their mental disease be mental. And like if we were at a bar and I saw this, I'd walk away as soon as possible.
Oh, I mean, I know what you mean when a girl is super sexual. Like, if that girl is my friend, or we're in the same friend group, and or I've gone out with her and some other people that are actually my friends, yes, that makes me uncomfortable because I feel like I'm never going to do the thing that gets the man attention. And she will. And so I know I will automatically lose because I'm not going to just be like, here it is. You're going to have to chase me to a certain extent. But the fact that she's actually gotten the man and there's no chasing makes me uncomfortable too, but also because it feels like she's not respecting her partner's wishes. If he had just constantly been talking about her boobs or her butt and it clearly made her uncomfortable, I would feel the exact same way. It's like you're making your partner feel uncomfortable because you think it's the cool thing to do for the reality show.
Yes.
But it's unnecessary because we see how uncomfortable it's making your partner. And if the roles were reversed, there would be a lot more outrage than her shenanigans.
You are absolutely right. And then before we go to commercial break, we're going to tease you with, let's talk about hypocrites, right? Nothing's more hypocritical than honey Jasmine, but we got to make money first. So
yes, like when we go on to her talking about how she's allowed to talk to Dane, but he's not allowed to talk to any other girls because she's more mature. Yeah.
She can handle it. She doesn't mean anything when she does it. And with him, honey, she doesn't know.
Yeah. So then the next scene we have with them is her going out with her girlfriends to meet Gino. And it's the dancing scene. What did you think of Gino's dancing?
No, it's horrible, but yeah. Yeah, of course he can't he can't dance, he can't dress himself, There's not a lot of things with D that he can do well. Ooh.
Ooh.
Sick
So she
burn.
says, yeah, she's like, I finally got him to wear some shoes. So he's actually wearing some shoes, and they go to this place to meet her friends. And one of her friends, who's very like shy about her English, is like, so, and says the thing that's like uncomfortable for him again. He's like it was like anal sex, like yeah. And so she's like, have you ever done it? And Jasmine's like, shh. I haven't talked to him about that. And the friend's like, oh, you haven't talked to him about the anal stuff? Okay, great. Gino, have you ever done anal? And he's like, and we're all like, no. The moment you're like, we know the answer is no.
Also, we know you don't want to answer this, and you have anxiety right now on how to handle that, which I get it, like it's hard to in the moment or, in retrospect. Now, granted, he's been on a reality show, so I would be like, why haven't you thought about this? To be like, elegantly and respectfully deny someone's request for information while, asserting that you are offended and you don't mean to offend. Which is like, other way, like, have you had anal sex? And you just be joke about it. Oh, yeah, no comprendo. You could do that. So many ways you could do it. Yeah, like there are two things that happen that would beg like one question of like how much is this is cultural and how much of it is two people being rude and or whatever. So in the sense of Riley and Violet is sarcastically mean to Riley at some point, even though he's not to be liked, and it's he's hard to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but she's mean to him in some way that does feel like maybe it's sarcastically a culture or a truth thing or whatever. And in this moment, I'm like, well, is everyone in like Panama, is everyone in Latin America very so free with their bodies and so sex that it's like not a big thing for them to ask? Because it's like, why would you be upset that I asked about this? What are you, a little pussy? Like, or is it like that they're being like, would they ask another man that they had more respect for such a question?
Right. Maybe producers told her to ask about it.
Right? Yeah.
Who knows? All right. I think that's all we have to say about Gino and Jasmine, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're gonna take a break, and go ahead and listen to those breaks, so we can make some money. Thank you so much. We'll be back.
So my fault. Well, I thought that I had taken the break. That's
Yeah,
why.
you had said that, and I was like, the episode is still happening. Their segment is still going on. We hadn't.
Oh, you always want to finish a segment before. I thought you always wanted to do
Oh,
it around the
around
11
the
minute mark.
time. Oh no, I hadn't noticed that had been the pattern.
So
Because
that's
it's
why. I
yeah.
looked up and it was 11 minutes and I was like, oh, I'll take it to commercial.
Oh no, yeah. No, it's all over the place. Like sometimes it's 12, it's been 13 at times, it's been whatever. It's usually in between the the couples. So let me find my phone so that I can help out and I'm not just like
Okay,
hoping
yeah,
that
get
you
it.
tell me what's going on next. Sorry, Patreon.
Get her. She's
Oh,
getting her phone, honey.
I don't know what I did with it. I don't know why I moved it.
You guys, can you believe it? What's happening? I just bought this bathing suit from Target. Oops. Shit. Wait. God damn it. It looks basically marmy, like it'd be like, like kind of like a grandma bathing suit, like an aunt bathing suit. But when you actually have it on, it's actually hot. So I was into it. Like it's very, very what's the word? Flattering. That is the word. You find it, Wa?
Yep. I think I took it to see what time I called my sister to know, or what time my sister called me to know when I needed to take the potato out of the oven. And then it was the wrong move to take it.
Okay, wait.
Okay. This has like a lot of steam, but it doesn't feel at all. My throat hurts like a lot. It looks like it feels like the putrid throat, which is like a very old fashioned way to say you have a sore throat. I took a COVID test, a home one, and it doesn't. It said I was good, so I go to work tomorrow. But
I've never heard of the putrid throat. And what is the
it's
thing
like from 1700s. I heard it in Outlander.
What are the things on your mug?
Oh, Costa Rica. It's a turtle. It's
yeah,
a monkey. It's a frog. It's a butterfly.
You know what's funny to me a little bit is that the frog looks like it licked itself, and it was a magic frog. Are those the frog's red eyes? Why the frog has big red eyes like that? That's a turtle, but with the frog, go back to the frog. Look at that frog's big red eyes, honey. That frog looked like it licked itself, and it's like having like the experience of its life right now.
Oh, you're talking about when you lick a frog and it gives you like hallucinations?
Like, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we feel? Should we go back and start recording more of this show?
just having a little drink. My throat hurts.
I don't mind. Then okay, great. I'll take okay.
No, we're ready. Hold on, let me. Hey, we're hey, she left you guys. This is how she feels about you. She doesn't care. She doesn't care at all. Oh. Yeah, my throat really hurts. It's like when I can finally, it feels like there's like a layer of like whatever nasty on my throat. And when I can finally like get it out, it's kind of red. So there's something going on. My coworker, she had like laryngitis and she came to work on like Thursday. So maybe I got like whatever she got. You like my lips? My lipstick is popping. So it's like hot and then cold.
And she's back. Okay. I did a mask in my hair. Everything is good.
Oh, you did a mask? Okay.
I mean, not in the past, whatever, but yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, Violet and Riley next.
Go. God. Yeah, what a weird scene.
Okay,
Yeah, so awkward.
let's wait
Okay.
to the top of the hour. Okay, and we're back. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is Riley and Violet. Violet,
Hmm.
who her picture of her is just, it's always looking great. You know, it looks slightly different than the real person.
Yeah, and obviously now we know that he is wearing the thing that he makes gets made in the scene.
Yeah.
That is the print that he loves. That's the one. It was that or the red. He picked that one, and I agreed. And look how happy he looks, and it fits him in his wide, wide waist, honey.
Yeah. Wow, he got upset about that too. I mean, this man is looking to, in my opinion, get upset about everything. When he knows that they have a silly, sarcastic relationship, it's like now that they're in person, he is just ready to be mad. So, Chris, your notes are first.
I just said her raspberry dress is cute. He likes it. Like he may meet up. They're gonna go fabric shopping. He's wearing this backpack that I just don't know if that backpack is it. Like, I don't like men in backpacks like that. They gotta use a duffel. Like, it's so thick. It's so big. It's kind of like cream with brown accents. It's like kind of femme. And does it like I'm just like I don't know where you got that backpack, but it's like definitely not for what you're wearing. It's so weird looking. What? Wow.
I'm like, when you're traveling and you're going through you can't have a duffel when you're just like going about the city. No, when you're traveling, you don't think a man can have a backpack, a duffel? Well, like
Why does
being
he
a
need the
tourist.
backpack? What's he do? What's in the backpack?
I mean, because he's a tourist. Like, what if he buys things? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Do
I
you
love a
like the look of
backpack.
it? You like the
I
look of a
don't.
man in it?
Yeah, I'm okay with a man with a backpack. I don't remember that's his specific backpack, but it didn't bother me.
Oh, it bothered me. Most men in backpacks bother me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's very clear now. You've made it clear 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
So as Chris said, they do go to a fabric store, and she's decided that because she's going to take him to do various Vietnamese things, she wants him to have traditional clothing. So they go into the store with a woman who she calls sis. So she's like, "Hey sis, hey girl, hey." And she tells the girl, like, this is one of my best friends, and like I want her to make him a fabric, aka I want to bring commerce to my friends, which makes sense to me. And he picks out that garment, as we said here. If you're on Patreon, you can see the visuals of it. And it was a good choice. Everyone agreed. And then they do the measurements in centimeters, which is so cute because when I worked, never mind. Anyways, so I know people use centimeters, and it's so cute because it's different in the US. We use inches. So he gets it around the midsection, and she's like, "Oh, you have a big belly," and he like gets hurt about that, which I get from him being if he were a female, but like he knows that they have like those relationships. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that he's a little sensitive, and he's so sensitive throughout this entire thing. He's been sensitive the entire time. And I think the reason why he remarked on her sarcastic personality, their back and forth, wasn't so much that he was excited or great about it. It's just the way that it was, because he has had issues in the past. And so he's like, well, she's sarcastic. And so he kind of, like, I think he would rather not be. I think he would much rather have a funny, sweet, or like, more sincere, sweet. But she's not super into him. It's obvious. I think it's obvious that she's not like, he's it for her. She's not like in love with him. This isn't like, like, this is just whatever. So now I'm not saying she has to be, but also like I think you can tell who is more invested in who in most relationships. And sometimes you get a rare two peas in a pod of two delusional people who are incredibly invested for like, but they shouldn't be, and or for different reasons, and both reasons are not sound, but here they are, like Rasmin and I think that whatever her name is, Amanda, both are invested, but because they're both delusional. He wants to get to America and be a whatever star. She wants a brand new baby daddy that she will have fun having sex with, what I'm saying, and also is a TikTok star, I guess. God bless. So anyway, but yeah, so in this situation, her and her sis, who's measuring, they're like, yes, she's does half of you is her, and he takes offense to that. But then what happens is they're talking, obviously can't understand them. And then she asks her friend, like, hey, do you think that he's ugly? And her friend's like, no, he's not ugly. He's old. Yeah, sure, he's old. I can see that gray hair. Yeah, old, but not ugly. And then he's like, well, you talking about me? She's like, yeah. And he's like, are you saying that I'm ugly? She's like, well, I asked if I, she said, he's like, something like, are you saying that I'm ugly? She's like, yeah. But what she's saying is she asked, do you think he's ugly? But she wasn't saying, I think he's ugly. She just used the word. And when he said, is that what you're talking about? It kind of, she was only too frank to be like, yes. And instead of like having any sorts of sensitivity that he might be upset, she like doubled down 2 and 3 times. So outside, as they're walking, he's already kind of hot about that. But then she gets a text and he looks over, and whether this person sends her a picture of a topless man or is a topless man, that's confusing. But he is not shown it. Well,
Yeah, he gets very upset about it. And I think that she's not expecting him to be as sensitive as he is. I think she is like, also, it could be just a little situation of like, you're not as cute as like Denzel Washington. So you're ugly, And I think he just
that's
like,
mean. That's mean.
No, it's mean, and I think in U.S. standards for sure, but I don't know that we can hold her to that example, especially when she's talking to a tall ass, big ass man, And he then gets upset, and she's like, "We are dating. You are not my boyfriend. Like, I can fucking talk to or have pictures of men on my phone, and it doesn't matter. Like, you need to just calm down. It's my private life." And then she says, we're going to go see my family today, so I need you to put a smile on your face because I can't. And in the confessional, she says she can't cancel it because then her mother is going to know something's up and is not going to respect him. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, I guess we got more to talk about. And she's like, yeah, like, we're not talking about this. And I actually understand where she's coming from. I know I said this last episode, but maybe for her, it's not real. She's probably talking to a few guys. Maybe a few guys have said things to her in the past. And she's really, trying to not just make a crazy like a crazy choice. One, who's to say she wants to even come to the US? She's not somebody who lives in dire straits. She's not someone who needs to go to the US in order to make a better life for her family. She's already educated. She already has a good job. She's a professional. She has a home. I mean, we didn't see like anything else about the home besides the living space. But I mean, she's good. So the truth is like she doesn't owe him anything. She's not moving to the US. And maybe that's what she's feeling. Like, yeah, I don't need to give you everything because the truth is like, how are we gonna really work? Are you planning on moving to Vietnam? Because I'm not gonna leave my sister and my mother, my aging mother and my younger brother. Absolutely not. So that's what I think.
And my beautiful daughter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Like he's not dating. Sorry, there's still like fireworks happening. I don't know if you heard that or not. He's not dating, and maybe he would like to, Sheila, who wants to see a phone right away. Like it would be only too happy to give a phone. If he gives up his phone, they both, like get to see all the phones all the time. But that's not it. Yeah. So, basically, they get to the house, the mom's house, and he's like, "Oh, it's different." She's like, "What's different?" He's like, this, and she's like, you don't have doors there? He's like, yeah, in America it just looks different. She's like, she didn't say that way, but it was also very funny. So yeah, basically her family sees him and her daughter is awestruck by the sight of him. Like they've seen him before, but she's like, you're like, you literally see this girl like, he must be, yeah, he's real big. He's just, they don't just, he's a big guy, and, I don't know if there's a lot of Black people there too. So I just don't know if how, it's just a different, she's like, you're so tall, much taller in real life. I just, looking up there, like there, God bless, up all the way up there, huh, you? And then he sits down and then he is only first of all, he's overcome with emotion. He's overcome with emotion as if they're celebrities and he's like, oh my God, bow. In real life, Bow, I can't believe I'm reading the Bow. Like, holy shit, like he's just like so on top. Yeah, he is not in any way. How do I say this? He's not cool or debonair. He doesn't maintain a facade that's either real or imaginary of a certain amount of disconnected confidence that you might think someone who wishes that they love jazz that much, what I'm saying, like, and cigars, you think that someone who would love jazz and cigars would have a certain ability maybe to have that kind of like, whatever it is, kind of mentality. He isn't. He's just like, don't call me fat, don't call me big. Oh, I hope I like everyone. Everyone's real in real life. How exciting for me. You're like, oh my God, you are just LOL. So he brings them all gifts, different lipsticks. She's like, my favorite. And then you get to also see Violet be so excited, like, yes, like, she like, everything is a little calculated. This part I didn't make me excited, especially when Violet's mom was like, oh, look at that. Look what I have. Oh, nothing. You see that? Nothing. I have empty hands is what I have, is what I'm saying. Empty hands! How dare you, the tall man, come into my house with and I have nothing, and you bring so many gifts for the other people, purses upon purses, purses in purses. I don't get one purse.
Yeah, he completely missed that. She definitely said it's, when a man is courting a woman, he does bring gifts for the family, and what she meant like is me. Like, he was missing her gift. But, at least I think Violet is like, okay, well, at least he got two gifts each. I mean, one of them got Jordans. Jordans.
Yeah, right? Like that part was crazy. And I also want to be like, what lipstick is it? Because she's like, oh, my favorite. And I was like, really? Is it a favorite? Like, what was it? Like, like, and yeah,
Yeah.
that is LOL that the grandma just sitting there being like, I wonder if when the grandma realized that she wasn't gonna get anything, was she like, oh, lipstick? Oh, yeah, okay, that one. Okay, here comes me. And then, like, there's a purse right away to the other one. And Bao was like, another one for me? Looks at grandma like, and I feel like Bao in that moment should have been like this, like,
yeah.
this lipstick now is grandma's, you know what I'm saying? Or the purse, she gets one. Or the purse came in. Whatever. I love the idea of like grandma being like, when a man loves a woman, they better get a mama some kind of gift. Like,
Yeah. I think
no flowers.
I think the girl who got the Jordans is gonna give the grandma that bag. I think that's what's gonna happen. I have a feeling. But then the daughters are like, "You have to trust my mother. You have to treat her well." And he's like, "Okay, I'll do everything. Okay." And she's like, "Yeah." It's like this moment where he's just like humbled in front of her children.
And mom. Yeah,
Mhm.
the mom's like basically like, now that you're here, what's with this hot temper? And then she also lets us know that Violet's cried in front of them on the phone. She's seen Violet cry, right? What?
Yeah. Yep. And that the daughter's been sad and there's been things going on, fights and whatever. And he's like, no, I'll get it together. Yeah, I promise I'll get it together. But we still have his ace in the hole where he has to confront Violet about text messaging his dad without telling him.
Oh yeah.
So we forgot that Violet is that person who was just like text messaging his dad, like, your son this and our relationship that and blah 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 blah. So we see this side and we haven't heard his that side of his like laundry list of complaints about her.
You're right.
Um all right, so I think that's it about them, right?
Yeah, let's move on to our new lesbian duo.
And who I did not take a picture of, so I don't have them to throw them up Patreon. But it is Statler and Dempsey, which to me are two people who were named family names, right? Like Dempsey is like Patrick Dempsey, and then like Statler is like obviously somebody's maiden names, but not because she's adopted.
That's a good and astute observation. To me, it sounds like toddlers and or 4-year-olds that be in a like Brentwood preschool right now. Like that these women are like in their 30s and 40s or whatever, and it just sounds like very like like there's my boy, no boy, there's my little girl, bluey blue. Just seems like the kind of names, whatever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
worked at Starbucks with a black girl named Shields. And I said, "Oh, is that a family name?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's my mother's maiden name or my grandmother's maiden name." And so sometimes people do that to whatever number kid you have in order to keep the family name going or whatever.
I considered that.
Oh, Farah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. But that's an obvious that can work as a woman's name.
Sure, sure. But basically, let's get to Statler. So she
Also, I think
is,
you should do it. It's great.
yeah.
I know. I went to high school with a Farah. Her name was Farah.
I mean,
Farah.
that is if I marry someone that in a patriarchal way that I don't get to keep my last name at all for some reason, because at this point, if I ever
Yeah.
have kids, that person, the only last name they'll have is, I will be giving my last name. There we go.
Yeah, I'm
So
that way too. I'm Lino. I've been Lino for 40 years. You can't tell me that me is not Lino and my child is not Lino. They're Lino. So, anyways, yeah. Okay.
me is not Lino. Me is not Lino, is
We're
what you said.
Lino. We're all Linos. That's what it is.
Hustling, who's not a Lino, Statler. So that's her name, Statler. But Statler's, has a whole backstory, and I like Statler a lot. What a personality! She has, she calls herself neurospicy. She has ADHD, which I get, and a lot of things she said, I was like, oh yeah, she's 100% in or 0% in, which I get, like, and going up and like, yeah, like all my literary and my like reading comprehension, all really good scores, like AP English, like honor Spanish, that kind of shit, and then just like remedial math. Anyway, so she also has an interesting backstory because she felt like she was rejected a lot, especially at birth. She's adopted. Her parents, though, that adopted her really wanted a little girl. They had 3 boys, and so she gets adopted, and she just feels, she says, like she's never like lived up to maybe what they expected, which is an interesting thing, and it's something that anyone can feel that are not necessarily adopted. Like people, like some parents have an idea of who their children are, and but for her, yeah, she, school wasn't the easiest for her for all the things that we said, right? Well,
Yeah. I guess I can completely imagine that happening if you biologically had your own kids and just because you wanted a girl, you decided to adopt, and then that girl wasn't and didn't do the things that your biological kid did. Like, I can see parents being a certain type of way, even not meaning to be just that way. And it's sad that she felt that way. And also, her parents are not in line with her doing the show because their faces were blotted out. So that shows a little something too that's going on. Not to say that they don't not in good relations because they did that, but I mean, they might
telling,
not be in relations because
telling.
yeah, it's telling. So yeah, so she says that she can only work about 15 minutes at a time. She works from home, thank God. Good for her. Because of her ADHD is like so bad. The one thing I did notice is that she had a lot of TV dinners in her freezer.
You guys, yeah, well, not only that, like it's as if her option of TV dinner was like the 2 TV dinners they had in the 1950s and 60s and 70s. It looks like the most basic Stofers from, like that was from a bargain basement bin, honey. It didn't give even lean cuisine.
Yeah,
Even lean. It wasn't even that. It wasn't Hungry Man, wasn't lean. Definitely wasn't Amy's. Like Amy's is like, I like Amy's.
disgusting. Are you really? Every Amy's I've ever had has been gross.
The broccoli cheddar bake.
I haven't had it.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to add salt.
A lot
I mean, I always do.
yeah, you do. Yeah, you're right. The one thing that she was though really good at is getting the bitches. I mean,
That
she
honey pea.
yes.
Do you think she's hot? I think she's hot.
Yes, I think she's hot. I'm like, what would I change? I don't know, something about the hair. I'm into studs. So I'm into like masculine. The hair is throwing me off. I'm into like masculine women. But once she cuts that hair and gives it a little fade and like gets some tattoos, then I'm there.
Yeah, she has some tattoos and she has some like bigger forearms and she does like forearmy things that like seem a little mask. But yeah, she really, she can dive into a bar, honey, just come up just drowning in women. That's her thing. And she's a kink. She likes to have sex all the time. She's very kinky, outdoor sex. That's her thing. So
In an elevator,
church.
wow, that girl is wild.
Honey, she's wild and she's a little crazy. She's wild and crazy, kids. But she has this one friend who she basically she met Dempsey and she has a thing for English accents. And basically she played this voice note from Dempsey, and Dempsey feels a little north country in her accent, but she was like, how do you say your name? And
Statler. No.
That's all it took. That's all it took.
Statler. Yeah, that definitely is as was all that it took. But then we find out that she's done this before when she goes with her friends to like a sex chocolate restaurant or something. I don't
Better
understand.
than dessert, better than sex, a dessert only restaurant. By the way, I looked it up and there's one right by my house. Right
Go.
by myself?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Because here's the thing, I looked it up and it's like literally for couples
Oh. Okay.
or two people.
Okay.
But you're supposed to sit together and they have little curtains. You can close it and you're supposed to like share the dessert and like the dessert's like all themed towards it almost feels like a sex motel. You're almost like what how sticky are those booths? You know, like from the caramel sauce, honey, or I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so she brings her friend to that thing and they talk and her friend like, she's like, yeah, met this girl going check it out. And like the plan is like maybe I'll just like move there and the friend's like, what? And the friend doesn't want to say anything, but her friend's like, bitch, I heard this all before. Because she did the same thing. She did the exact
Yeah.
and yeah.
It's like crazy. It's crazy that she's done the exact same thing,
Yeah.
literally expecting a different outcome.
Anything to get away from those solo TV dinners. She's very much like, I can have a love, I can have sex. I really want love. I really want like that unconditional love. It feels like maybe we're chasing some things that we didn't get in our childhood and or things that trauma things that we are holes filling and we're filling with anything that will possibly fit. And who knows if that is the right thing.
I just looked it up, better than sex, and it is literally very close. Like, walking distance. And I'm surprised that I haven't come across it in my dalliances roaming that street. Like,
I
it is
know.
right past Pampered Hands.
I
Like,
know. I looked. I know.
yeah.
I looked at the menu. Oh, I looked at the menu, honey. I went already. Like the menu. There's like a. I don't. But I'll be honest. The menu desserts look like the desserts that would be at. Kind of. They look a little over the top in kind of like a manufactured, almost too indulgent way. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
You're like, does that look good, or does it look like it's going to be a huge slice of cheesecake with
Yeah. They want
graham
you to think,
cracker dust and
yeah, you're going there for the ambiance and the theme, not for the actual desserts.
I think you're going there to fuck in a booth. I mean, publicly?
Okay. Well, listen, if you guys are in Orlando, Florida, Greenville, South Carolina, Key West, Florida, Plano, Texas, Los Angeles, or Savannah, Georgia, you could get you some better than sex desserts.
What a hodgepodge of cities. Savannah, Georgia. I mean,
Like
this
all
person,
southern cities, and then yeah.
yeah, and then they were like, and LA. Okay, well,
Not
yeah.
New York, LA.
Okay, so yeah, so basically she's gonna go see if she can repeat the same mistake, but in a better outcome with this girl. Then she can't. Then also to spring it on the girl that if it all goes well, that she is moving there. We'll see that works.
We'll see if that works, which we know it won't, but it is very interesting. She's like very nervous that this isn't going to work out, especially because she finds out the girl is stuck in Thailand. But I'm like, well, then go to London and have a great old time. Meet up with that ex.
Meet up with Chloe.
The ex who wants to pick her up from the airport. Apparently, that's what the ex wants to do. And I'm like,
Yeah, like the ex broke up with you. You could have been moving in, and then supposedly you get a text saying that you were the best she's ever had, and she misses you, and she wishes she could just come pick you from the airport. It seems a little suspect that the conversation would have gotten that far. Like, how did it even come in? Like, why did you even say I'm coming back to London?
yeah. I mean, she's a U-hauler, it feels like, right? It feels like she's just ready to like U-haul her situation and like move in and be in love.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the last couple that we are going to talk. Oh no, next couple. Just kidding. Next couple is Cleo and Christian. So as we left off last episode, Christian didn't want to kiss Cleo at the airport because his family situation is just getting in his head. And 3 bloody noses later, as he flew across the Atlantic, that all changed for him. He like got there, put on that ugly ass leather motorcycle fucking jacket, and met up with her.
I know. This part makes me so sad because she looks so cute. She put a whole outfit together. She's like happy that she looks fishy. She does look fishy. And he gets there and okay. I think she makes a error on her part that she loses her power by feeling insecure when she shouldn't. She's gorgeous. She is so cute and she's dressed so well, but she feels uncomfortable because of what he's done. And she's in her head. And so suddenly she's like, it's okay that I'm tall. I'm not going to get too tall. Right. And he's like, no, yeah, tall's great. And then she's like, oh, he's totally out of my league. And then she remarks on it in so many times, and he's not, by the way. He's not.
She's out of his league.
Right. And so it makes me so sad for her and many people who don't see their beauty and worth and then start to give away their power when they shouldn't. That's what made me sad.
Yeah. So she meets him. He actually kisses her, as he said he didn't want to do. So I think it's coming off to a good start, but she's very nervous. They get into the car and he makes some like stupid American remarks about driving on the wrong side of the road. And he's so glad that they won their independence. And then like they do a shot of the cab driver. And I'm like, that happened so fucking long ago. It's just so weird how people are like, oh, we had our independence from England. And I'm like, that's not my history. So when people say that, I'm like, weird. I don't know how far his lineage goes back in America, but it's weird when your family wasn't even there at that time. So he and her get to the apartment and he makes it known very well that he is tired. He would like to go to sleep. And I like that because it's being clear about and since him being snippy. So they get to the home and it's a quintessential like London flat where like the living room has a door. That will always knock me out. Whenever the living room or the parlor or whatever they call it has a door to it, I'm like, that's so interesting. It's just so different here. It's all open. It's just all open. But it makes sense. If there's a TV in there and then there's a door to that room, that way whoever's watching TV in there, the sound stays in there. And who's ever watching TV in another room, it stays in that room. People get to watch TV in peace, you know?
Mm-hmm. I do know. What do you think of those cats? Well,
I'm not a cat fan.
I know. That's why I asked.
No, I'm not a cat fan, but they were cute. I just wonder about their shedding situation. Like, what does that look like?
The shed situation. I thought they were like especially fluffy looking and kind of round looking. I thought their faces were cute. She was like, "Meet Daddy." I was like, "A little too much, Chloe." But definitely he felt like he made himself at home. And she comes out in some really cute lingerie and he's like, yep, going to bed. He's so, there's something about him that there's something about him that's just so interesting. And I just don't know how to read him and clock him. And he's doing the most and not enough. And I don't know. I feel like I'm her and I'm like, I don't know either, boo. Like, I feel like if I was her, I want to be like her friend and mom, be like, just so you know, you aren't reading anything weird. We don't know what's happening either.
He's from Edina, which is like the well-to-do area of Minneapolis. And so like, maybe he's just, I don't know, maybe he's the youngest of like 5. And then he's like weird because his family doesn't approve of his choices in this moment and he doesn't know how to behave. And so kind of socially awkward. Still waiting to run into him
because he's not giving her eye contact in the taxi, and he gets a little better in the house. But like I get her being confused. But
11-hour flight, I can give that to him, and it's more than 11 hours. Like, why did I say 11 hours? I don't even know. It's like Minneapolis to JFK, right? And then, which is probably a 3-hour flight. And then you have another flight across the Atlantic. And the truth is, I don't know. You and I went to London, and that was a long-ass flight. Was it not?
It's 10 hours from
Oh,
from LA is 10 hours.
okay, then it's 5 hours
Yeah.
from New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also at one point he says that he likes her nose, which I thought was cute, and I was happy that he had given her a compliment. And I think her nose distinctly to me looks like, and I'll do a comparison later on in life, gives me like, and not that this person is this person's goodness or badness has nothing to do with Chloe, with Ivanka Trump's nose.
Mm.
Sometimes Chloe's like nose looks like Ivanka Trump to me a little bit.
Hmm. I've never noticed. I
You
like
haven't
my nose.
noticed?
I like my nose.
I like your nose too. I think your nose is super cute.
Thanks.
No, yeah, I love your nose.
Thanks. I have a friend who like she loves my hands. It's so weird. She's like, "You have the same hands as when we were in high school." I'm like, "Oh, interesting." Okay, so let's anything
What do
else?
you love about me, Wa?
I like your whole face. I just finished telling you last time that I liked your smile and that I like your eyebrows and that you
Oh
were like,
yeah.
"Oh, should I get my forehead?" And I'm like, "No."
Oh yeah.
I,
Wa likes my crooked smile.
I could consistently tell you that that I like the way you look. I consistently tell you that. And you're like, "No, I have to get this done. I'm going to get that done and I want to do this and I want to freeze my whole face in time and go back to when I was 14."
So I'm trying to smile without having crooked smile. But you know what? I was okay. I can always it's never enough to tell me I'm pretty. So, I can take it all night. But anyway, we have wait, no.
One more finally. Okay, Sheila and David.
Oh yeah. I almost like cannot. I'm so disgusted. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them, but this comes hot off of their sex night last night, the sex of what we watched it. And it took me out so much that he didn't shower after it, and then he got in that bed, and the way he looked, and so much so, and this morning doesn't help. Like at one point we see him, and for some reason he has like, I don't, okay,
I think they're moles. I at first I was gonna, yeah, I
they
assume
look
they're
like
moles. Okay.
they look like he has heightened from his skin bumps on it. Like, I wish him the best. I need him to like get himself together, like visually.
Well, I'm glad, at least Sheila likes it. She's like,
You're right. I don't he doesn't need to do anything for me. He's did enough for
yeah,
Sheila. I know. I don't he doesn't
Sheila
need to do anything,
Sheila
but
likes it.
very
They
happy
wake
with
up
it.
the next day
I think.
and they talk about their sex, and apparently his penis was too big to fit in her donut hole. And
Banana.
yeah, but she said that it was too, which is like, is that like ASL slang for penis? Like how we say, like, I don't know, eggplant, they're like banana. Um, and so he couldn't get in, and I imagine there was just no lube, and she just like getting rid of, like, new to him, or maybe he's just like a giant penis, who knows. And they, he worked with his fingers, and they giggled about it, and talked about what he'd been doing for the last 4 years, and he said masturbating. And then they go to a fish market, and there's a lot of smells that he's not used to, but the good thing about it is that he has the wherewithal to keep his face normal. He's not in there like,
Yeah, he's not me while you're telling this story.
yeah, he's being like,
Yeah.
and so, she shows him her favorite squid, and then the person who is like manning the stand, they like pan to this like Filipino lady with red lipstick who's like, it's so funny. It's so funny. I just started laughing when they panned to her.
Well, I didn't know if like she thought that they were like, was she like, why are they touching my stuff and not going to buy anything? And are they filming without consent? And like, who is this man? And is he about to eat the squid? He's like, yeah, I worked in a lot of markets. This one smells a little different. It looks different. It feels different. Usually when I go grocery shopping, I'm like hungry afterward. It's like starving. And I'll tell you, just like wasn't hungry afterward. And I really would lose a lot of weight there. Well, I lose a lot of weight. I lose a lot of weight. Well, like talk about Ozempic, honey. I just go there. Like I can't eat, first of all, obviously I know that I'm privileged to even have any sort of like food concerns. And yeah, I just don't even, I have certain aversions and I don't like fish. Like, I don't know what I would do if I lived in a culture where like fish was it, like, and there's a lot of cultures where fish is it,
Yeah. Yeah, there are.
and
My dad
right.
loves fish. Yeah. Most of
So
the
can I
Asian
see this?
countries do a fish situation.
Is she gonna eat the fish raw, dried like that, or is she gonna like recompost it, put water? She put water in it and make it big
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. That's what she not make it big. She's going to use it to either in a stew or something like that. It's just like salted. So
Yeah,
it has its own flavor in it. Yeah.
salty. It's like ooh, salty umami flavoring. Yeah, he's into it. She's so tiny. She is so tiny.
Yeah.
She's a tiny person.
And she like wanted to spend one day with him before taking him back to her place. But another thing that bothered me about the way that they filmed the Philippines is like the intro scene of like the dirtiest river surrounded by electrical like things on a like cement walled situation. It just like they just want us to know where they are and what it's going on. I mean, sometimes countries will have the same architecture or same design before there was electricity, and then all of a sudden electricity's there and they don't like change the setup so the electricity is hidden. um I've seen places like that in Japan where like just like wires everywhere. You're just like, this doesn't feel like it should be like this. But we're lucky that we live in a place where they cosmetically would fix those things so that we don't have wires like running up the side of your house. I mean, some places do. I mean, I've seen them, but it was just I just don't like the way they do that. It's like last episode two when they were, I don't know what's country, but they did you see the two twin one-eyed cats in last episode?
I just like can't believe I just heard. Okay, no is the answer. I did not, and then I had to replay what you said to me like 5 times in my head. Like two
Or
twins.
twin.
Okay,
Sorry, just
so I was
twin.
like, how many cats and how many eyes? In my mind, I was like, how many? Wait, first of all, how many
Did you
fucking
see
cats and how many eyes?
the twin one-eyed cats? I don't remember
So
what
there's a
country it
is
was.
there 2 eyes total?
There's four eyes total. So, so there, wait, no. I'm sorry. There's 2 eyes total. Yes, there's 2 cats. They're twins. Okay, there's one. There's two. Both of them are missing an eye or having an eye, like whatever. I'll have to find it for you and send it to you. It's
Okay,
crazy, but
no,
they
I
keep
just
doing that. I'm like, why? Why we don't need to see trash floating down like a sewage or river in the middle of like a shanty town? We don't need it. So we could already tell by the hotel he's staying at there's a situation. Okay, we don't need anything else.
I know it. I just
Him
like
peeing in the alley and her being like, "Yeah, go and pee in the alley," as opposed to like, "No, babe, that's gross. Don't pee in the alley. Like, go find a bathroom." Like she's like, "Going ahead and do so." Here, I'd kill somebody if I went on a date and they were like, "Let me go just pee in this alley." I'd be like, "I don't care if you have a penis, no
hi,
peeing in alley."
please.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, but anyways, that's it, right?
yeah. That is it. That is it. Okay, so we'll see what
Oh, they
happens.
switched phones. That's it, right? They switched phones.
Oh, yeah, we had somewhere talk about that because that's what Riley would have loved. But yeah, they talked about it, and so they did it. They switched phones, and they're setting up the fact that well, yeah, they have another. They set the fact that she has jealousy. At one point, he asks about her last relationship, and that he cheated. She found some guy cheating on her, and so like that's maybe this, and like maybe that'll be a problem, the cheating. But also, we know that they're gonna make a big deal when he goes to stay at her house. It's gonna be like where he can't believe it and he can't deal with it. It's gonna I feel like it's gonna be that, which I'm not saying it always just remarkable to me because I am like, before I would travel, I would know where I'm going and what is to befall me. But I am hyper controlling and whatnot, like I'm wondering if it was really okay. If I fell in love with someone who I was afraid to ask those questions to, like, hey babe, like just like is there something like is there a picture you can take of like what it is like or maybe I would just be like, should I get a hotel room where you live because you have family there and I had given you money, so I assume that I know that a lot of people live there and maybe I'd feel more comfortable having my alone time in my own bathroom, like I but he assumed he's an adult, so he knew all that. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm giving you a lot of, because this part's going to give me anxiety. So I'm like talking about it as I have anxiety about the thing that I haven't seen yet, which is his own life. And why do I watch this show? Because it should be an escape. It should be an escape watch.
Now, I would just go and see if it worked. Like that's me. So you're saying
That's
like,
crazy.
yeah, you're like,
That's
oh,
crazy to me.
I would know before I go there. I'm like, oh no, absolutely, I would just go. And like the truth is, I wouldn't be staying at his parents' house. I would be staying at a hotel. So like,
But
either
wait,
way.
then you wouldn't go. Then you wouldn't go. I'm saying you just go and stay at her house. You're saying no,
Oh,
you have a hotel.
go and stay at her house. Okay, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
No,
but
no,
that's
no.
what they're gonna make him do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you meant. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I would go, but I would have my own place. I wouldn't. I would definitely. You're right. I wouldn't stay at the person's home.
Oh yeah, I would go too. And I mean, as it's decaying and falling around me, I would just the sweetest pie person. I would put on my biggest Jordan eyes and Jordan cheek fillers and just be like, "Oh, it's yeah, I can see how there probably was a little damage, but it's great.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
How
yeah.
lovely. Thank you for having me here."
Yes, I would do the same thing too. Yeah. But then I would have a place where I could go run and beat myself. You're right. So, all right. You guys, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to see the visuals of what you've been listening to right now, see Chris's face expressions when we like have a pause and you don't know what's going on. You should do so by joining us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. It is $10 a month. It's, we want to, if you want to support us, that's truly what it is. We do give exclusive content. We did Love in Paradise. And we're trying to figure out what our next like exclusive is going to be, but we do have a live the first Monday of every month. And you get to know a little bit more about each of us, mainly what we like, what products and skincare. But yeah, patreon.com/DocuSweeties, $10 a month to support us with getting this podcast done. But Chris is going to tell you where you can find us on the social medias if you're unable to support us on, DocuSweeties. Patreon.
You know what? We are on Instagram, and we probably should sign up for Threads. Ha ha ha! I just thought about it right now. Ha ha ha! At DocuSweeties on Instagram, and don't take our Threads. And we are also at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter, but who knows how long that will last, because isn't Threads going to take over Twitter? Isn't that how that works? And we're also on something called TikTok. Does anyone know how to do that anymore? Just kidding. It's at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter, and then again at DocuSweeties on Instagram/Threads. Please give us 5 stars. Thank you so much. We love you.
We love you. How dare she say, is TikTok even still happening? It's absolutely still happening. I love it. It's the most magical place on the earth. What
if I was like, and starting up DocuSweeties on something called Snapchat? You're like, oh god. Well, do you guys know that I have a DocuSweeties Vine account?
There's Vine still?
These are all jokes.
Oh, great.
The DocuSweeties MySpace coming up. Okay. DocuSweeties MySpace. Okay.
DocuSweeties Tumblr.
Great. Actually, Tumblr might come back because of Twitter's nightmare. Oh, because we'll see. Okay, we love you guys. We'll talk to you later. We'll end this episode, okay? Bye.
Bye.